Xbox Series X is better than the PS5. It comes out earlier, it's more powerful, and it looks cooler. Yeah? Well, the PlayStation 5 has a new controller trigger. It can fit on a shelf, and it has cooler exclusives. PS5's definitely better. No way is it? Jed, can you settle this? Well, Timmy and Johnny, I guess we could take a look. Hello everybody, Jed is back with another video, and today we are doing something I am personally incredibly excited about. A brand new generation of console that are going to be released incredibly soon. It's something we've been talking about for years. It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the PS5 and the Xbox Series X releasing within the next 3 months. What a time to be alive. I mean, apart from everything wrong that's happened in 2020, then maybe it's not a good time to be alive. But regardless, we've got new consoles, family. So guys, let's jump right into it. So on a high level overview, both consoles have two variants. Xbox and Microsoft have gone with two models. They've gone with a higher power model and they've gone with a lower power model. As you guessed, the higher power model is slightly more expensive. The lower power model is cheaper. Whereas Sony's variants are exactly the same. The only difference is one takes discs and one just uses downloaded content. So there's no disc drive. So the Xbox Series X, which is the high spec, high powered model, is priced at £449.99. The Series S, which is the lower powered, more budget model, is priced at £249.99. Big price difference. It seems incredibly reasonably priced. The PS5 on the other hand is priced at £449.99, with the digital version being priced at £359.99. The brand new generation of Xbox is set to be released on the 10th of November, whereas the brand new generation of PlayStation is set to be released on the 12th of November. So, on the high level overview, it seems that Xbox won this one, with the earlier release date, the cheaper console. So let's jump into affordability now, guys. Now, following that overview, it's clear to see Sony is being outpriced in a major way. Xbox's Series S is incredibly affordable. I mean, it's £200 cheaper. £200 cheaper than the premium edition, and is £100 cheaper than the cheaper version that PS5 have produced to compete against Xbox's lower cost console. So with that £100 saving, guys, you could buy an Xbox Series S and 2 games to go with it. If you're on a budget, it looks like the Series S is for you. Now, I know the Series S isn't on the same level as the Series X or the PS5, but it is £250. It is £250. Just one more time for the people at the back. The new generational console is £250. Insane! Which definitely seems a more reasonable price for the average parent to pay. You know, it's the kind of thing I could see most parents being comfortable spending on a birthday present, on a Christmas present. Now, I can only see really rich kids or older teens with jobs, or adults with jobs of course, going ahead and buying the PS5 or the X Series just because of how expensive it is. The price really starts to ramp up. I'm not saying that the price isn't high already, but the price is incredibly high. But that price is gonna ramp up even more when you consider the cost of these games. So look at it this way. We have an incredibly expensive console. We have incredibly expensive games. By the time you've purchased that console and gone ahead and buy, 4 or 5 games, you could be looking at spending about £1,000. That is crazy money, £1,000. That could buy you so many things. But instead it is going on a console. It's what a lot of people spend a lot of time doing these days, playing games, and it is a passion. It's a passion of mine as well. I know I'm going to be going for the PS5. So I think when it comes down to it, the affordability, I mean, there's no contest here. There is literally no contest. Xbox wins it by an absolute mile. £200 cheaper than the high spec model and £100 cheaper than the PS5's answer to a lower spec model. Fantastic work, Microsoft. You're making gaming accessible to a lot more people. So let's jump into exclusive games. So something to consider when you're buying these consoles is what games do you want to play? Now definitely there's a lot of free-to-play games. We're seeing an increasing trend towards these free-to-play games. You know, we've seen Warzone, we've seen Hyperscape, we've seen Fortnite, we've seen Brawlhalla, we've seen Apex. We've seen a lot of free games. It's a big new trend and it's a way that game companies are making money, creating these free-to-play games and getting people to spend money in the item shops. So I would imagine between, you know, the free-to-play games, their business model relies too much on people spending money in the stores. So I doubt we're gonna see any real exclusive free-to-play games on either platform. They're both gonna be available on PS5 and on Xbox. But when we look at what PS5 has to offer, there's Spider-Man 2 Miles Morales, there's God of War, Demon's Souls Remastered, Horizon Forbidden West, Returnal, you know, quite a few games. On Xbox they have Halo Infinite. Halo just takes me back to when I was about 10. I'm getting emotional. Be right back, I'm just gonna get a tissue. But yeah, Xbox has Halo Infinite, Forza, Hellblade 2, I mean Crossfire X, Avowed, State of Decay. There's some household titles there, there's some big titles there. Now I can't really choose between these two. Personally speaking, there's games in both of them lists that I like. If I had to choose between these two sets, I couldn't, it's a draw. It is a draw. There's titles on both sides that I really like. Halo, like I said, I've been playing that since I was a kid. And then looking on PS5 side, there's obviously God of War 2, I really like God of War 1, God of War 2 coming out. I can't choose between the two, I can't. Oh, hang on, what's that? Sorry to interrupt your regular scheduled program. We have some breaking news coming through. News that Microsoft have purchased Bethesda. Jed, can you fill us in on the details? Yeah, certainly Chris, I can fill in all the details here. Bethesda has been purchased by Microsoft for an incredible $7.5 billion. Now, this is huge. Bethesda are the creators of several household titles within the gaming community. Titles such as Elder Scrolls, Doom, Rage, Wolfenstein, Dishonored, Fallout, many more big titles. This is a power move undoubtedly by Microsoft. This could have severe repercussions for Sony. I can't see what Sony can do to counter this move. Maybe buying Rockstar and making GTA PS5 exclusive, or buying Activision and making Call of Duty a PS5 exclusive. Who knows? Who knows what they can do to counter this? I don't see a way back from Sony. Back to you in the studio. Yeah, thanks for that. We are back in the studio now, obviously. Back to the comparison. Crazy news that we just heard. Crazy news. And let's talk about dimensions and how the console is physically looking. This is something you might not consider when you're purchasing a console. How big is it? Where can I put it? Where's it gonna fit? Will it fit on the shelf that you have, or will it fit next to your TV? How's it gonna work? How are you gonna play your console? So the PS5 measurements is 30 centimeters by 26 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Now the PS5 is a thick boy. I'm probably talking about 2 or 3 C's here. 2 or 3 C's. But it may fit on your shelf. I don't know how big your shelf is, but it could be better off just lying down or behind your TV somewhere hidden. It's a thick boy, like I said, at least 3 or 4 C's there. The Xbox, with the measurements coming in at 15.1 centimeters by 15.1 centimeters by 30.1 centimeters. A little bit weird with the 0.1s there, but you know what? If it was 0.0, I wouldn't look twice. So Microsoft just being a bit, you know, a bit particular there. Now it makes kind of a weird like box shape, I guess. Yeah, so the Xbox is kind of a weird box shape. Obviously a lot smaller than the PS5. So it may not fit on a TV shelf, but it looks like it should be okay standing flat anyway, you know. It doesn't, I don't think it's gonna be a major issue. And I would say the design of it looks pretty slick, but I think both consoles are pretty nicely designed. No bias there at all. Yeah, so for dimensions, I think it's a draw. I don't think, well, I mean, like, if you were to look at it like that, then I mean, like, the Xbox is more portable, obviously, because it's a smaller console. But I mean, does size matter? I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, I would say it's a draw between these two. Moving on to a next category, which is friends. Now, back in my day when I started gaming, my first gaming console was a PS1 when I was a kid. Didn't have a console for a bit when I was growing up, and then I joined high school, secondary school, whatever you want to call it. My friends are playing games online with each other, and I had two friend groups. I had the one friend group that played on PS3, and I had one friend group that played on Xbox 360. I had to choose between these two what console I wanted, and it's going to be a similar situation here. However, I suspect that the Xbox is going to do substantially better than the PlayStation 5, considering kids probably can't afford to spend the extra money on getting that premium PS5. And I can see them settling for the cheaper version of the Xbox to have a good time with their friends. So I'll ask a question to you guys watching. Are you currently on PS4, but you're planning on buying the Xbox S series because it's just going to be so much more affordable than buying a PS5? I imagine a lot of people are in that situation. You know, £200 is a big difference for a lot of people. Yeah, it's a lot more affordable. So yeah, for friends, I can't really choose a winner, but it's definitely going to be a contributing factor for what console you buy. I know it definitely was, in my previous experience, it was a big factor for what console I purchased. Let's talk about hardware and backwards compatibility. So the Xbox X series is backwards compatible all the way to the original Xbox games. That is some range you've got there. So amazingly, the original Xbox came out in 2002. That is some time, that is, jeez. Backwards compatible all the way to there. It's got me thinking about getting one to just play Halo 3 again. Nostalgia. Now, Sony announced that the PS5 is going to be compatible with PS4 games, and a patent suggests that it's going to be backwards compatible with all other generations, but nothing is confirmed yet. Controllers. So on the topic of controllers, Xbox has made some modifications to their existing controller design, such as adding a dedicated share button and a D-pad, sort of like the ones on the Elite controllers. And Sony has added something called adaptive triggers. Interesting word in there. Into the trigger buttons of the controller. Now this offers resistance feedback in games, such as using a bow and arrow on a game, for instance. You know, as you pull it back, you get that. Maybe even the click of pulling a gun trigger. Now this has the potential to be really, really cool. It depends how they've put it together. Or it could just be a gimmick. VR, on the topic of VR, Sony has said that PSVR is going to be supported by the PS5. Now this is fantastic news for you VR enthusiasts. I've never used VR before, never. Maybe we should do a video on that. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below if I should make a video on my first time using VR. But yes, it's great for VR enthusiasts because it means you don't have to go out and buy a new headset. However, on the other hand, Xbox does not support any form of VR. In fact, their stance is no one is interested in VR. The Xbox boss Phil Spencer said, and I quote here, "No one is asking for VR." Cheers for that, Phil. We'll talk about 4K Blu-ray. This is added to both consoles for the film fans out there, so neither console is gonna have an edge when it comes to watching your favorite movies. It's hard to choose a winner out of these two because, you know, do we really need added resistance in the trigger? I don't know. It depends how good it is, right? You know, I think this is something you're gonna have to try and test before you can really choose a winner. VR, like the Xbox boss said, I don't really care about. I don't use VR. I just want a good gaming experience. So yeah, I can't really choose here. So let's examine the cons of both consoles here. Let's start with Xbox. Fantastic job making the Xbox an incredibly affordable product. I'm talking about the Series S here, the X series, yeah, a bit more pricey. But while they've made such an affordable product, there is cons. There is cons. So buying the Series S will compromise your experience versus the Series X or the PS5 with regards to resolution, FPS, and of course, you know, graphical performance. It's just going to happen. It's a less powerful machine. If you don't care about any of that, you're set. But if you do, it is a big jump of £200 to the next model. It's gonna cost you. The speed of the Xbox SSD lags behind the PS5 massively. This is due to Sony's new storage architecture, which is sped up performance. And according to Sony, it is blazing fast. Well, let's move on to the cons of the PlayStation now. So specifically, the digitalized version of the console, I think this would be a really bad decision to purchase, unless it's the only way you can realistically afford a PlayStation 5. This is just my opinion. This is why digital only just harms the customer. It forces you to buy only digital products through the PlayStation Store at a much higher cost than you could get if you bought it second-hand from someone. And of course, not to mention that the PlayStation Store is a lot more expensive than if you just went to your local gaming retailer, right? And of course, with that mentioned, you cannot also just sell your game on or trade it in on something when you're done with it. And also on paper, the Xbox X Series is more powerful than the PS5. But I guess getting caught up in these numbers is a little bit irrelevant, so we're not gonna go there. Keep it in mind if you have Xbox friends that may poke you for it though. Xbox versus PlayStation, it's a rivalry, let's face it. So in conclusion, I could just say I'm super excited. I think a lot of you are excited. It's a new generation. I've been gaming since I was a kid. It's been crazy to see these consoles grow up, see them get better and better, with the gaming experience just getting better and better, more games coming out. It's just really exciting. I know everyone's super excited. We saw the PS5 pre-orders just wasn't the best way, it wasn't the smoothest way to deploy the PS5, but nevertheless selling out very quickly. But I haven't got my PS5 yet. I will be getting the PS5 over the Xbox. I'm a Sony boy, but obviously I don't hold it against you if you're Xbox, and well, apparently you've got a better performing machine than me, so you can have that. I will concede that. But you know, if some of these titles do become exclusive to Xbox, as we mentioned earlier, with Bethesda being purchased by Microsoft, I'm a big sucker for Fallout. I do like my Fallout games. I would buy an Xbox purely to play Fallout. But overall, I would say the two consoles, I think Microsoft has done the edge on Sony just because of that price jump. You know, the cheapest console that's coming out next generation is going to be obviously the Xbox S Series. Now that opens the market to a lot of people that maybe necessarily cannot afford a very expensive premium model that's going to cost £449. That is a lot of money. That's some people's rent. It's going to be interesting to see how these sales do. I expect both consoles to do well. Gaming is still growing. It's a massive industry. It's getting bigger and bigger by the day. But guys, I hope I answered all of your questions. I hope there's no more bickering, no more fighting now. We've done a fair comparison. What do you think? No, Xbox is still better. You're chatting absolute rubbish, mate. Absolute rubbish. What are you talking about? You've just said the PS5 is better. It's better. It's better. Don't make me slap you again. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, show your boys some love. Show your boys some love. Let's keep it moving. I'm catching you in the next video coming real soon. Peace and love, guys. Boom.